Welcome. In this playthrough Marvel Champions the Card game, Doctor Strange takes on some risky business against Norman, Osborn, and Green Goblin. So for setup, there's a hostile takeover. We are doing the expert version with Norman, Osborn 2 and 3 with the expert cards, risky business, standard cards, and the Goblin gimmicks. We have the criminal enterprise in play, which we'll read here in a second. I'm going to start with 2 threat per player, and when completed, we'll place 1 infamy counter per player on Criminal Enterprise, then discard 1 card from each player's deck for each infamy counter on Criminal Enterprise. And we have a threshold of 7. So Criminal Enterprise enters play with 2 infamy counters on it, which we have. If there are no infamy counters here, flip Norman, Osborn, and Criminal Enterprise. Then Norman Osborn starts with 2 scheme, and for his attack, when he would attack, we place 2 infamy counters on Criminal Enterprise. As a forced interrupt, when he would take any amount of damage, remove that many infamy counters from Criminal Enterprise. And starts with 18 hit points. So we'll give our counter stack a final shuffle. Then we've got Stephen Strange. Recovery of 3. Begins with the Invocation deck. Natural Talent. Discard the top card of the Invocation deck. Hand size of 6, hit points of 10, forward of 2, attack of 1, defense of 2. Spell Mastery is an action. Exhaust him, pay the cost of the top card of the Invocation deck, resolve the special ability. Hand size of 5 on this side. So we'll take his Invocation deck, give it a quick shuffle. And the top one on that is the Images, which will help us confuse the villain and remove threat. Give our deck one final shuffle and draw 5 cards. Well, 6 cards. Getting some downtime. Eye of Agamotto, Cloak of Levitation, Magical Enhancements, Valkyrie, and Tac Team. I'll go over deck construction at the end of this video. And those are 2 cards we're definitely keeping. And we will be taking damage. Do want to keep downtime, so we'll discard 3, drawing into Power of Aggression, an Uppercut, and Relentless Assault. I was hoping for some better resources, but instead we'll work with what we've got, flipping to Doctor Strange. We're going to bring the Eye in for 2. So hero resource, exhaust the Eye, generate a wild resource. Then we're going to bring in our Cloak of Levitation, using that for 1, the Eye for the other. Gives us the aerial trait, and as a hero action, exhausts a cloak to ready Doctor Strange. And while I did want to get this in play, we are going to exhaust Doctor Strange, spin that as a resource to use the Images, confuse the villain, and remove 4 threat from a scheme. So Norman is confused, and we'll remove 2 threat. And ready. Let's see, we've got the winds here. And I guess I'll go ahead and use that just to see what we have. So Magic Blast, Protective Ward, and Mystical Studies. Next up is the Crimson Bands. We'll end our turn. And I think I'll go ahead and discard 2 and draw 4 more. Magical Enhancements, Power of Aggression, Genius, and Mockingbird. For the villain phase, we get 1 threat. Norman's going to go attack, and when he would attack, we place 2 infamy counters on Criminal Enterprise. Then our encounter card is a hired gun. When revealed, choose to either give the villain 1 face-down boost card or place 2 infamy counters on Criminal Enterprise. I think we'll just put 2 counters up there because our only attack is that right now. So we'll go ahead and start with Doctor Strange using the Crimson Bands. Paying 2, we'll use that for 1, and the Eye for the other. So stun an enemy. And deal 7 damage to it. Which will take all this off. We'll be flipping over. State of Madness enters play with 2 Madness counters on it. There are no Madness counters here. Flip Green Goblin and the State of Madness. And Norman comes out, deal 4 indirect damage to each player. It's down to 6. Next card up is the 7 rings. Go ahead and ready the good doctor. I'm going to bring in Mockingbird for 3. And after she enters play, stun an enemy. And we'll have her swing for 1. Get her first damage on Green Goblin. She'll take a damage. Then Doctor Strange, we're going to use him, discarding 1 card to use the 7 rings to give up to 3 characters each a tough status card. We're just going to pick 2. And then we've got the Vapors left. That will end her turn, drawing 5. All right, 2 Masters, a Helicarrier, Tigra, and Astral Projection. 1 threat. Goblin goes to attack, but he's stunned. This guy goes to attack and he's stunned. Counter card, the villain schemes. And so he is losing confused. And this is not the hand I wanted, especially with that. So Strange is going to thwart for 2. Then ready. Mockingbird will attack for 1, lose her tough. Bring Tiger in for 3, using those 2 and the eye. After she attacks and defeats a minion, we'll heal a damage from her. She's going to come in and swing for 2, which will kill this guy. Her ability goes off now, and she takes her consequential damage. Then we're going to flip over, recover for 3, on up to 9. Then use our ability to discard the top card of the Invocation deck and give that a quick shuffle. And it's back on top. So we're going to end our turn, keeping those. So drawing 4 more. Relentless Assault, Enhanced Physique, Sorcerer Supreme, and Energy. Villain phase. We get a threat. Goblin schemes. So when he would scheme, remove 1 madness counter from State of Madness. Then our encounter card, Intimidation. When revealed, choose to either spend 2 resources of any type or give the villain 1 face down boost card. So he's going to get 1 face down boost card. Then back to us. We're going to start with Doctor Strange's ability to discard the Vapors and hope for something better. Crimson Bands. Time to flip over. So we're going to play Mystic Arts using the eye. So we can play this, paying for that with energy. Stun an enemy and deal 7 damage to it. So stunned. And down to 10 health. Then we want the Sorcerer Supreme in. We'll pay these 2 resources. So that's going to give us +1 hand size, and we do have the Mystic trait. Then have Tigra swing for 2. Down to 8. Mockingbird swinging for 1, down to 7. We will swing for 1, down to 6. Then we're going to ready and swing for another 1. It's down to 5. End our turn. We'll be drawing up to 6 now. I'm going to keep that in hand, getting 5 more. So we got an Uppercut, Sanctum, Astral Projection, Endurance, and the Hulk. Villain phase. 1 threat. Goblin goes to attack, loses stunned. Get the encounter card. So he's got a Goblin Glider now. Attach the enemy with the highest printed cost. So here our action, we can spend 2 energy resources to discard this, and it gives him +1 attack. And then it's back to our turn. We are going to do an uppercut using 2 there. The Hulk is too dangerous to bring in because if he does 1 damage to everyone, we lose our defenders. So there's 2. Here's our 3rd, just to deal 5 damage to an enemy. So that takes out the first version of the Goblin, which brings out the second, or the 3rd version. When revealed, deal 4 damage to each player. And that is different than indirect damage. That we have to split up. This we can just put on 1 ally or person. So I think Mockingbird will take all of that. And he comes back in with 22 health. Then Doctor Strange will use his ability, using the bands, spending 2 resources to stun the enemy and deal 7 damage to it. Down to 15. And now we've got the images. I will ready. And then have him fort for 2. Keep her to defend. Ending our turn. Keep my other copy of Master the Mystic Arts. Drawing 5 more. We're getting Wong, Enhanced Physique, Magic Blast, Tac Team, and Nick Fury. Villain phase. We get a threat. Goblin goes to attack, but he's stunned. Then we get an encounter card. Private Security. Just got 4 hit points and the guard ability. And just to get this stated, this is my first run of Doctor Strange through everyone in expert mode. So if I do bring him out again, he will be going heroic, because unless I just curse myself, he is a bit too powerful. So I'm going to bring out Nick Fury, paying 3 there, using the eye. And after he comes to play, we're going to choose to deal 4 damage to an enemy to get rid of the security guy. Then Nick will swing for 2, down to 13. Strange is going to use his ability. We're going to let Wong pay that cost to confuse the enemy and remove 4 threat from a scheme, or 1. So that was the images. Next up, we've got the winds. We will ready Doctor Strange, and then attack for 1. So down to 12. Ending her turn. Keeping that, drawing 5 more. Relentless Assault, Tac Team, Enhanced Physique, Protective Ward, and Strength. Villain phase. A threat on a hostile takeover. Goblin will attack. Nick Fury will defend. So base 4, 5, 6. Place an infamy counter on Criminal Enterprise. If you cannot, remove 1 madness counter from State of Madness. So we do the boost ability first, which removes the counter, which flips him back over. 2 counters on the Criminal Enterprise. So his base attack is 0 plus 2, which is still enough to take out Nick. Then oops, there was another boost in there too. Better get that played out. So luckily that's 2 more damage. So Nick was definitely going down. Now we get our encounter card. All in a day's work. Revealed. Place 2 infamy counters on Criminal Enterprise. If you cannot, remove 2 madness counters from State of Madness. All right. Now it's back to our turn. We'll start by playing a Master of the Mystic Arts, using the eye to pay for it. So we can use the winds to draw 3 cards. So drawing our first gets us an uppercut and an encounter card. Then we will shuffle. And after we shuffle, we'll draw 2 more cards. All right. So we've got the Hulk and magical enhancements. Then we'll use Doctor Strange to draw 3 cards. Protective Ward, Enhanced Physique, and Master of the Mystic Arts. And that's going to bring up 7 rings. We'll go ahead and ready. I'm going to bring in the Hulk with some strength. Use Stranged to give up to 3 characters tough status. Which means we'll shuffle our Invocation deck. And the next card up is going to be the Images. Then the Hulk will swing for 3, which will take off 3 counters here. Then we're going to discard the top card, which is Strength, which is going to deal 2 damage to an enemy. Which will trigger this flipping over. So 2 counters. He flips over, deal 4 damage to each player. We'll throw that back on the Hulk, so the Tough takes care of that. We'll do an uppercut for 3, dealing 5 damage to an enemy. So down to 7. Then we'll put in Enhanced Physique for 2. So that's going to give us 3 counters on here as a hero resource. We can exhaust it, remove a counter to generate a resource. And I'll keep these in hand, ending our turn. Drawing 4 more, getting a Sanctum, Energy, Downtime, and an Astral Projection. The start of the turn, we get some threats. Goblin's going to attack, Tiger is going to defend. So base 4. Coming in, we lose our toughness. Get another encounter card. First one, Pumpkin Bombs. Attach the villain. After the villain attacks you, discard Pumpkin Bombs and take 2 indirect damage. So here our action, we can spend 2 physical resources to discard this card. And the next one, Private Security. Coming in with 1 attack, 4 health, and the guard ability. So we'll start by using Strange, paying 1 resource. For the Images, confuse a villain or remove 4 threat from a scheme. He's already confused. Then we've got the Vapors up. Choose a status card in play and replace it with a different one. So we will ready. We're going to put in the Sanctum. So as an alter ego action, exhaust the Sanctum, shuffle a spell from your discard pile, put into your deck, and draw a card. All right, he's going to swing for 1. Flip over. Use his ability to discard the Vapors. Then we've got the Crimson Bands up. We'll use the Sanctum. Finding a spell, which will be a Protective Ward. Put that into our deck and shuffle. And draw into the Power of Aggression. Then Hulk is going to swing for 3. Takes out the Private Security. We'll do his ability, which has a Wild on the bottom. So we're going to deal 2 damage to an enemy, deal 1 damage to each character, and then discard the Hulk, since that will trigger the all the above. So first 2 damage, down to 5, then 1 more. Does the damage to the Doctor, we lose Tough. Damage to Tigra, knocks her out. And then he, took a damage and went away after he hit himself in the face. Then we have all these cards and nothing to do with them. So we're going to end our turn. We're going to discard 2 cards. Keeping the Ward, Mystic Arts, and Energy. Drawing 3 more. Attack Team, Astral Projection, and Mystical Studies. Villain phase. We go up to 1. Goblin goes to attack. Scheme. Move 2 Madness counters. which flips all this over. 2 counters back. And then a counter card, Hull in a Day's Work. When revealed, place 2 infamy counters on Criminal Enterprise. If you cannot, remove 2. Well, I don't want that treachery happening. But we're in alter ego form, so nothing we can do. So back to our turn. We're going to use the Sanctum here. See if we've got a spell we can get back other than Astral Projection. Shuffle that into our deck. And draw into a Magic Blast. We'll then flip over. I'm going to use Master of the Mystic Arts, using the eye to pay for it. Then with 2 energy, I'm going to use the Crimson Band, stun an enemy and deal 7 damage to it. Norman is stunned. Deal some damage to this, which flips that over. 2 counters. Flips him over. Deal 4 damage to each player. So we go down to 5. Then we use our ability to use a Crimson Band with 2 resources. And that will finish all the risky business being brought on by Green Goblin and Norman Osborn. So Doctor Strange solo has had no problem in expert mode against all the villains. So if I ever pick him back up again, he will be definitely going into heroic against them. But before I go to that mode, I definitely want to put him through the ringer in expert. So for deck construction, Power of Aggression. Got 2 cards, Uppercut, 3, Tack Team, 3 of those, Relentless Assault, 3. Then for our allies, we've got the Hulk, Valkyrie, and Tigra. And our basics for resources, Genius, Energy, and Strength, Sorcerer Supreme, Helicarrier, Enhanced Physique ×3, then Mockingbird, Nick Fury, Endurance, and Downtime. And that's the deck construction for Aggression. As always, I hope you enjoyed this playthrough, so please click on the like button below and be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.